Hey, I wanted to jump up here and talk a little bit about the part 2 exclusive interview of NeNe Leakes with Carlos King. Now, I did part 1, so if you missed that one, go check it out. It's getting really good views. Anyways, but I wanted to just, I'm not going to do a full recap. I really just want to talk a little bit about some of the things that NeNe shared with us in the part 2 video. I just want to say, look, you know, when my girlfriend and I are at work and we're chatting in the chat, you know, the group chat in the office, and if we've got some real juicy tea, we always say, girl, and we spell it all the way out, girl, and that way we know, drop what you're doing, I got some tea for you. So let's dish it up with D by saying, girl, let's dish it up. So anyways, I made some notes because I didn't want to forget some of the things that that I wanted to talk about. Anyways, first thing, you know, she talked about just how small of a company that Bravo was when they first started Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? That she said, you know, it's like having, you know, being affiliated with a small company. You know everybody. You know the CEO, you know the HR department, you know, because the HR department probably is only one person. She knew Andy Cohen. She could reach out and touch these people and have access to them at any given time. Now she got to go through this person, and that person to get to who she need to talk to. You just can't have easy access to them. So that's how big this, you know, Bravo has gotten on the backs of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So anyways, and she talked about, she just did not understand how corporate America worked. How could somebody one day love the person that has made them a, you know, the company that they are and set them on the map? Nobody knew who Andy Cohen was, you know, until she came, you know, till Real Housewives of Atlanta, and largely because of NeNe. So she was like, I didn't understand that. So it was baffling to her. I could have told her, girl, you can ask any black person that's been in corporate America. I've been in corporate America for 30 years plus. I ain't gonna tell you the exact number. But anyways, but you know, when they done with you, they done with you. And you know, I was with a company for 21 years, thought I'd be there into full retirement, honey. And one day they just decided they didn't no longer need me and probably about 30 other people along with me. And now had I left the company on my own, you know, free will, found a job somewhere else, let them know, gave my 2-week notice, whatever, they would have given me a fanfare, you know, celebration, you know, farewell, luncheon and all that. They didn't do none of that stuff. They escorted me with security guard along with these other people because it was a major layoff at that time, and escorted you into your manager, your reporting manager, right? They go over you know, what your severance package is gonna be, and they ask you to read and ask you if you're okay with it, like you're supposed to say you're not. You're on your way out. The security guard standing outside the door waiting for you to finish signing the paperwork, take whatever little belongings you had with you, and escort your ass out the door. That's corporate America. She didn't understand that. But guess, you know, I understand that. Because NeNe, we got to remember, Greg got her off the pole, okay? NeNe, I don't know if she went to college or whatever. I assume she finished high school, whatever. And if she did, she probably went to community college or something. Not knocking community college. But she really didn't have a career. She never worked and traversed the space of corporate America. So she had no idea how that playing field is. It's treacherous. When they no longer want you, ain't nothing you can do about it. You gone, boo. You out the door. And what she had said was that she, you know, the season 13, I think that was after the season where she shut her laptop down, you know, during the reunion and didn't show back up. And I think it was three episode reunion, and she only showed up for one and closed the laptop down and didn't show back up for the rest of it or something like that. So anyways, but the point is that she basically, you know, did not understand, how things worked, in terms of just, these corporations and things. She said that season 13, her contract was for only 6 episodes. 6 out of 20. And she said she had seen the handwriting on the wall. She had seen it, but she apparently ignored it because she would have been planning her exit strategy. But she said that, when you start out with 20 and then you start, cutting it down to 15, then down to 13, and now you talking about 6, and the fewer episodes you have, the less money you have. So, but she didn't see that. She saw it, but she really didn't do anything about it. So, anyways, so that to her is baffling because she knows this is the house that she built. And she definitely helped build. It was built on her back, basically, because everybody knows that NeNe was the breakout star. She was the reason why everybody was tuning in to see Real Housewives of Atlanta. Granted, there was a great cast around her, but she was clearly the breakout star. So, and NeNe did make a reference that you saw in my thumbnail. She made a reference to her liking of Beyonce. Now, girl, you ain't no Beyonce. But I know, and after thinking about it, I said, I know what she meant. She basically meant that, Beyonce to the Destiny's Child group was the breakout star. She was also the anchor of that group. When Beyonce left, there was no more. You know what I'm saying? She was the one that people kind of showed up for. It was a good group together, and they were great because, of Beyonce and, the people around her. She made them great. So that's kind of what NeNe did. NeNe was kind of the pop-out star, and she made the other people great around her. They talked about how, and Carlos said that the girls looked up to her like, okay, what am I supposed to say? Kind of like looking up to her like, you're guiding the scenes or guiding the, episodes and the scenes that they're in and what have you, and looking to her for what to kind of do and say and following her lead. So from that perspective, NeNe, I will give you were the Beyonce then. If we're talking about from that perspective, yes. And then NeNe, I gotta get to this. NeNe talked about, some of the things that Kim Zolciak was allowed and not allowed to do, or not required to do. Because, she still said that there is still this outstanding lawsuit, so she couldn't talk too much about that. But apparently, the whole thing about feeling as though that they were treated unfairly. I think she said that they were treated unfairly within their franchise as well as, across the franchises. Now, I'm pretty sure if you're a black or brown person in this country, clearly there is, the playing fields are not level. And I don't know why anybody try to act like that it's not, but we all know that the playing field is not the same. You find it in corporate America, you find it everywhere. We are not treated the same as others. We're not afforded the same opportunities. We're just not. So I understand completely there were some disparities against things that were happening, like with Real Housewives, Beverly Hills, New York, all of those other franchises that were primarily white people, that they were actually, afforded some luxuries probably that the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise did not get. She said that she has receipts that the girls in group chats, they always had group chats. She said from day one, they were in group chats and they would talk about the disparities and the unfairness and complain about that in group chat. Yeah, we do that. I do that too. I do that now with my friends, my co-workers of the same color. Okay? I do that too. But we ain't going and, telling nobody about it. That's just our way of this is our way of making ourselves feel okay to show up every day and the next day, right? Because we know that at least that's a voice, that's a sounding board. I come home and I talk to my husband about things that I am not pleased about every single day. And I know he gets sick and tired of it. That's a way for them to have a sounding board. But that don't mean they're going to take nothing to the EEOC and HR and all that. Them girls said they not going to, look, they like that check. It's a nice check. They're going to keep collecting that check. So when NeNe decided to go out on her own and start, suing Bravo and all that, she thought that people were going to yeah, y'all been talking about this. We've been talking about this in our group chat. Y'all all know. Don't try to get real now that you don't know. We all been talking about this. We've been talking about this for years. Why y'all not backing me up? Because they want that check. They want that check, and they don't want to be blackballed like they trying to do you now. They didn't want that. So, NeNe, most people wouldn't do it. Most people ain't going to cut off and bite the hand that's feeding them, okay? They're not going to bite that hand that's feeding them, even though they know that it's so. And she just couldn't. She made references about how she had stood up for people and lobbied for them back in the day. She fought to have, Portia come back after she had a fighting incident that was off camera or whatever. She talked about how she had, talked up for getting Claudia a peach, just how she went to bat and lobbied for folks, and she felt like that they let her down. I know that's a bad feeling. I know it has to be a very bad feeling. But people are not trying to cut their checks off. They're not trying to cut their checks off. They ain't trying to bite the hand that feed them. So, anyways, so she talked about that, and she talked about how Kim Zolciak, like I said, was afforded to do and not do things that now this is the kind of disparities within their own franchise. She felt that, Kim was allowed to not show up to scenes that she didn't feel comfortable at. She was allowed to not go on the mandatory girls trip every year that they have for every season. And they know that was one particular episode or episodes, those girls' trips, where all of them collectively came together, and there was going to be some ish that was going to go down. Because they wanted them to bring the drama. They wanted them to do this. That's the reason why they set it up that way. The producers did. But somehow or another, Kim was always able to, get out of attending those girls' trips. So that was some of the unfair treatment she felt like that the black girls experienced. And then also she just felt like, she spoke about those injustices that she felt like, and just with the closing the laptop, walking off set, or doing their, reunion during COVID and what have you. She said she felt like, she was getting blackballed on, from her episodes because of that, because they felt like she was unhappy with, being on the show any longer and all that. And she said she hadn't done anything that was any worse than any of the other people had done, with the fights and she made a comment, I think, about, she said Teresa pushed Andy Cohen on a reunion show, and she said, almost knocked him down. And she was allowed to come back and all that. And she was like, they talked about how she pushed the cameraman or something. She said, well, he was in my way. That was a real joke. But yeah, so she didn't feel like she had done anything that was so outlandish that would cause her to be banished or to reduce her episodes to what it was. But, nonetheless, that's what happened. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it, because like I said, I know, if you see black and white, and like I do, I think this is right, this is wrong. Why doesn't everybody see it? My husband always says, you know, that's not how everybody always sees it. Okay, there's many shades of gray in between. So even though you know that, hey, this is clearly wrong, why don't they see it that way? Everybody don't see it that way, or if they do, they just choose not to. So some of those things you just gonna have to deal with. And you got to pick and choose your battles. And I think she picked a battle that probably wasn't the best for her. Sometimes you got to turn a cheek and suck it up. I think her husband, Greg, rest his soul, you know, was trying to encourage her to just take the deal. Take the deal for the 6 episodes or whatever it was they were offering her and, you know, ride it out. But, you know, pride was getting her way because she started this show. You know what I'm saying? Now you're going to give me 6 episodes to the queen? So, yeah, sometimes you have to pick and choose your battles. And going up against, you know, these big companies and you just one little small fish, you know, in a huge ocean. They got lots of money. They can, you know, or lawyers, and they can chew you up in lawyer fees and all that, especially if you don't have a real strong case. And then you got the people like your castmates who's not willing to stand up with you, you know, and do a walkout or something with you. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. So anyways, she talked about, one thing I want to talk about, she talked about Claudia Jordan, and how out of all the cast members across all the seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta, she felt like Claudia was her most formidable opponent in the Reed game. She said she was snatching Reeds out from under her wig. You know, she said that girl was like, she was spitting them right back. She said she was her most formidable opponent. And I was like, so, you know, are you trying to throw an olive branch over there to Claudia now? Especially after, you know, I guess Claudia's blowing up in her platform and what have you. So I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. But I don't know if I would be that quickly to even admit it, even if it was true. After Claudia did what she did, allegedly. You know, word on the curb is Claudia kind of stole 2 ideas from NeNe. And those 2 ideas went on to become quite successful. NeNe had a conversations and cocktails and conversations podcast that she was trying to do or whatever. And then shortly after that, then Claudia comes up with Cocktails with the Queens over at Fox Soul. NeNe did the Reed session with the gays, right? Some of her gay friends in the Lanithia Lounge. She did a few episodes with that. And then next thing you know, Claudia was like, oh, I've got this brilliant idea at Cynthia's wedding where she saw Al Reynolds and Funky Dineva and said, I want you all to come on this show with me. Now Funky Dineva's gay, Al is bi. And she had this epiphany of an idea. Okay, we're gonna have a TGIF where we're gonna talk about everything, you know, gossip and read people and whatnot. Doesn't that sound like NeNe's show? But anyways, so it was real interesting that she would give credit to Claudia Jordan. Even if it was true, I don't think I could do that after she had stole my shows from me, allegedly. Okay. Next thing, Carlos asked her about the star and starless list and gave her a few people. And I wrote these folks down. Let's see here. It's like, okay. Asked her, like, who she felt like was a star or who was starless. So I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are and whether I agree or not. The first one she talked about was Giselle and Robin from Real Housewives of Potomac. She said that they were starless. Now, NeNe, we all know, I got to agree with you on Robin. Robin is not a star. No. She's a side. She's a, what do you call it? I was going to say side piece, honey, not side piece. But she is, you know, just an extra for Giselle, right? She's kind of like Cynthia were to you, to NeNe. They're great in that sense. But everybody knows Giselle bring the mess over there, and she is the star. She's the anchor, and she's the real reason why people watch that show. Now, Karen Huger thinks she is the great grand dame of Potomac or what have you, but Giselle brings the mess and stirs the pot and keeps that show fresh. I think we all can agree with that. Y'all let me know what you think. But anyways, then she said Kenya is an in-between star and starless. Now, I think Kenya is a star. I think Kenya has just gotten a little bit lazy over there. She's collecting her checks, realizing she don't have to bring a whole lot of drama, and they still gonna pay her. So, don't know if I agree with you on that one, NeNe. The next one was Portia. She said Portia was a potential star. Now, I don't know. After you left, NeNe, Portia held it down. After Portia left, that's when I stopped watching. So I think Portia was a star, okay? Phaedra, she says an entrepreneur star, whatever that is. I guess she's saying, you know, Phaedra's good at creating businesses and making them successful, you know? But I think Phaedra is, you know, was a real star on the show as well. She wasn't a NeNe star, the anchor. So I like to separate the anchors from the stars. NeNe was the anchor, and I think that Phaedra was a star as well. She said Candy was a supporting star. What is a supporting star? Is that a friend of the show? I don't know. I don't know. I think Candy would be best in a friend of the show. If that's the same thing, then I agree with you, because Candy really doesn't bring anything. She's never really brought anything. Her best was when she was with the Phaedra and the Portia situation and dungeon and all that stuff and the sex, all that, you know, whatever, all that shenanigans. That was the best, you know, show of Candy. And of course the Mama Joyce with, you know, Todd and all that, but that has run its course. And that was because of Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce brought all that. So it still wasn't Candy. And then she said, Sonia and Moneta, don't even know who they are. I do know who they are. I don't watch the show. But she said, bye-bye. And I say the same thing, bye-bye. Yeah, nothing there to even talk about. So then they even talked about the Sweet 16 is coming up. And what should that look like? And who should that look like? And I think Carlos and NeNe both really agreed that they should just scrap it. Scrap it and start probably fresh, like Real Housewives of New York did, with a whole slate of new cast members. And she said, because she said in Atlanta, there's a lot of rich, you know, housewives that has real husbands that would make for great TV, reality TV. But I don't know if I would really want to see somebody new. I think that if they're done with it, they're just done with it. If they want to revamp because their ratings are in the tank, you know, I think that they should do a shakeup of recasting with, you know, people that has past cast members. And here's how I think it should play out. Now, I know NeNe said that she would return only if the fans wanted to return. Well, the fans want you to return. We're asking for you. Bravo. We're asking for NeNe back. We need her back, okay? We need her in our lives, okay? But here's my Sweet 16. NeNe Leakes. We got to have Kim Zolciak. She needs the money, and she made for good TV. She made for good TV. And this time, make her show up for the scenes, okay? Make her go on the girls' trips. Make her do all the things that she need to do, like the other girls, okay? We don't want to see Croy up there. Less of Croy. Let's see. We got to have Portia. All of that content Portia was giving us with her wedding and, oh my gosh, the drama, how she ended up with her husband from, you know, a former castmate's husband, ex-husband. It just was a mess, and that would have made for some awesome TV. Her wedding that she had, all the lavish trips that she's been going on, this stuff makes for excellent TV. Why are we not getting that? So Portia, okay, so we said NeNe, Kim, Portia. I say bring back Phaedra. I love Phaedra. And I think Phaedra with her, subtle reads. But if we bring Phaedra back, I think that's the only reason I would want Kandi there, so they can finish out their, all of that, resolve those issues. Let's see how that unfolds. She's made up, NeNe said that she's made up with Portia already, so let's see her make up with Phaedra and have that, play out. So we've got NeNe, Portia, Kim, Phaedra, Kandi, and I want to see Kenya for sure, because Kenya really brings it when she has somebody to bring it with, which would be NeNe. So Kenya's got to be there. And, I really do like Cynthia and NeNe's relationship. We need a new friend contract. So I would like to bring, even though, Cynthia is kind of sidekickish as well, she's the yin to NeNe's yang, and I'd like to see that relationship get back together again. Now, I also would like to see Peter Thomas come, because NeNe's real friends with him. I like for him to be a friend of the show. And I would like for Marlo to be reduced back to a friend of the show. I think she's much better as a friend of the show, especially when you got these heavy hitters there. So that would be my casting for the Sweet 16. Bravo, Andy, NeNe, Carlos, and I want Carlos to produce it, okay? So that's my wish list for the casting for Sweet 16. Now, I bet you would get the ratings back up. I bet you get the ratings back up if you bring that casting there. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about is just her reference to Kim Kardashian. She think that she should be on that level, somewhere on that level. I don't know. I understand what she's saying, because there was no Kim Kardashians or the Kardashians before the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They created a door for reality TV where others could come. The Braxtons, the, Kim Kardashians, the Love and Hip Hops and all those to come back or come into the reality space and look at where Kim and them are now. They're billionaires. She felt like that their show didn't allow them to, showcase businesses and things like that, because they just want the black people on their reality show to just look, just drama. But Kim, the Kardashians, they get to sit around and talk about their businesses and things like that, and really about nothing, really, and got branding deals of all sorts of kinds and what have you. They're saying that, she felt like that, she should have been on that same level. But NeNe, you didn't have a momager like Kris Jenner. Kris Jenner pimps out her kids, allegedly. She's a branding genius. She can take any little thing and twist it into something and sell it because she knows that they have the viewership. So, I don't know. Life isn't fair, NeNe. I know. It's just not fair. And they talked about how basically, this was a moment that was tear-jerking for, I think, most of us that watched that. When Carlos teared up, NeNe teared up, because he said that he is so sad the way things have turned out and unfolded, because he feels like that NeNe has been given a rough break, and that she's not where she should be. He said he realized that, people, when they start out, and when they started this whole Real Housewives of Atlanta, they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to receive the instant kind of success of the show. Were there mistakes made? Yes, But it's kind of like I equate it to, winning the lottery. People don't tell people how and what they should do. There's no instruction manual on what to do with your money. If you ain't never had no money, you may have had at most in your bank account $100, $500, and then all of a sudden you win a mega Mega Million or a Powerball lottery, and you now got all this money and you don't know anything about financial planning or anything about financial advisors, and then there's this ultimate windfall. You end up losing most of the money and just, because you ill-advised and people coming at you. Same thing with being in this realm here. They never been, NeNe never been a star before. And then all of a sudden, now she's an overnight success. Name known everywhere, people using her memes and whatnot. Didn't know how to handle that success. A lot of people say she got the big head. Started, with having attitudes. Girls didn't want to film with her and all that because she thought she was the ish. She was the ish, but she maneuvered like that. People, the fans and things started to thinking that she was just getting too big of a head and, wasn't the same NeNe she was, the humble NeNe that she was before. She catapulted into this success. So, do you all think that, NeNe was the cause of her demise? A partly cause of her demise? I mean, there is, like you say, there is no recipe or instruction manual on how to handle instant fame and success. And none of us know how that would be until it be, So did she traverse this in the right way? Absolutely not. But should she be given, a cancellation like she has, and that is sad, not being able to, get any gigs. She said that she won't do podcasting. She won't do a talk show. She said all of those things were brought to her. And then it was like, after, a period of time, they would bring these ideas to her and say they were interested in it. And then all of a sudden, like somebody made a phone call and said, nope, don't you work with her. Don't you work with her. Nope. Cancel that deal. And she said it would just dissipate and just be gone, done. She would, and she didn't even know what happened. She said she had several of those types of deals done to her. So yeah, it's kind of sad. And what do you all think? Like I say, I want you to, let's talk about it. I know I didn't get through all of the things that they had discussed, but I don't know if, like the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise is what is needed for her. But if they're interested in bringing those ratings back up, I do think that it needs a reboot of some sort. And they can't blame it on, people not looking at TV anymore as much as they were. Reality TV is on its way out. Well, look at the numbers of 90 Day Fiance. People watching that, even my mother-in-law and her sister, and they in their early 80s or late 70s, early 80s, and they love that show. People still watching. I know the demographics, the younger people may or may not be doing that, but there's still a large, huge demographic that is eating up and lapping up reality TV. So, but they got to do something. They got to do a reboot of some sort. And I'm hoping that, like I say, I'd like to see that, that Sweet 16 that I mentioned. I'd like to see them back on my screen so that I can sit here and I can recap and we can talk about this, on my podcast, okay? On my YouTube channel. So, that's all I got right now. So what I'd like for you to do is always comment, and let's talk about it. And subscribe to my channel if you have not, because my subscription, it's going up. And also just, share it with other people. And then also hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted when we drop something new. That's all I got. And this has been Dishing It with D, and we'll talk to you another time.